Thanks for watching Peachytale. I really appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more amazing stories. In my past life, my younger sister got pregnant before marriage. Fearing she'd be drowned in a pig cage, she begged me not to expose her. But she miscarried at the palace banquet and tearfully accused me of setting her up to have an affair with another man. I became the target of everyone's criticism, despised and trampled by thousands, sentenced to be burned alive. My brother died trying to save me when that sister maliciously pushed him into the flames. That sister then went everywhere doing good deeds, helping the poor, becoming the capital's most renowned charitable lady, receiving honors and being granted the title of county princess, finally marrying the heir of the Marquis's manor, who once had an engagement with me. Opening my eyes once more, I see that sister kneeling on the ground, tearfully begging me. Recently, Hong Chen stories haven't been recommended much, so please give me a like, comment and share so Hong Chen gets recommended. Each of your comments gives us so much motivation. Elder sister, I truly don't know whose child is in my belly. Since returning from the Grand General Temple, I haven't had my monthly cycle. My cycles were always irregular before, but I never thought I'd be pregnant. I must find the child's father. I can't be bullied without knowing anything. Please don't tell father and mother, or I'll be drowned in a pig cage. I don't want to die. Elder sister, please. That sister kept begging, her noisy crying pulling me back to reality. I just realized I'd been reborn to the day I discovered my sister's pregnancy outside of marriage. Though this sister was born of the 7th concubine, in my past life I always treated her as my best sister, sharing fortune together, bearing hardship for her. Though her status wasn't equal to mine in name, her treatment was no different from mine. She knew I was soft-hearted and deliberately pretended to be weak. I pitied her circumstances and covered up this matter for her. But at the Queen's birthday banquet, she deliberately pretended I pushed her into the cold pond. After being rescued, in front of the Queen and nobles, she falsely accused me of plotting to destroy her purity from before, forcing her to get pregnant, and now wanting to kill both her and the baby. I endured all kinds of suffering and humiliation in the manor, doing all the dirty and exhausting work just to survive. But why won't sister let me go? If I hadn't accidentally overheard that sister brought me to the palace banquet to make me a laughingstock, then discovered by nobles for being pregnant before marriage, ending up dead without a complete corpse, I would still be happy that sister was willing to bring me to the palace. Just because I'm the 7th concubine's daughter, and father slightly favors mother, sister wants to pursue and kill a secondary daughter like me to the end. Each word like blood, each sound like accusation, her miserable appearance so wretched that even the word, tragic, isn't enough to describe it. The Queen raged, everyone criticized. I tried hard to explain myself, but that sister presented so-called witnesses and evidence, crushing me like an ant, viciously trampling me into the ground. The Queen spoke up for that sister, scolding me. After just one night, rumors spread through the capital that I was snake-hearted and extremely vicious. As for my sister, after this incident she not only avoided the pig cage drowning, but became the strong woman praised by storytellers throughout the capital, receiving sympathy and praise everywhere. Father valued face and wanted to punish me with family law. Mother kowtowed until her head bled, crying but unable to gain any mercy. Under punishment, my flesh was torn, I fainted from pain, burning with fever. I'll forever remember that sister's fake expression and triumphant eyes when she visited me in my past life. Elder sister, you look so pitiful like this. If your future husband saw you, his heart would surely break. Oh no. Look at my memory. Why can't I correct this way of speaking? Lord Edmund of Dinyuan sent a letter breaking off the engagement mid-month, declaring he must have been blind to notice sister. That sister laughed with relief and joy. However, sister doesn't need to worry. Though you can't enjoy life, death might not be so bad. I'll send your good brother and mother down to the Yellow Springs to keep you company, so you won't be too lonely. I was so angry I couldn't speak. Used once again by that sister to frame me for adultery in broad daylight, causing such commotion the whole capital knew, my reputation destroyed. Father saw me as a disgrace, the family sentenced me to death by burning. My brother was pushed into the flames by that sister while trying to save me, burned to death before my eyes. Mother couldn't bear losing her child and threw herself into the fire. I hated to the point of madness, yet could only watch that sister helplessly. Using the excuse of atoning for my sins, she went everywhere doing good deeds, helping the poor. In just half a year, her reputation soared. Praised as the capital's most charitable lady, even catching the emperor's attention, granted the title of county princess with generous rewards. A girl born of a concubine, using every means to climb to the position of the marquis's heir's wife. No one remembered the wrongfully dead legitimate daughter of the minister. I clenched my palms tight, nails digging deep into flesh, transmitting sharp pain. This life I'll repay grievance with grievance, revenge with revenge. Elder sister, you've always loved me, you'll definitely help me, right? In that sister's eyes there was no trace of guilt, full of pitiful expectation. In my past life I couldn't distinguish good from bad, mistaking a wolf for a lamb, filled with mad hatred. I looked at the extremely pitiful sister before me, coldly kicking away the skirt hem she was gripping. Getting pregnant before marriage is the family's greatest taboo. Sister clearly knows this yet deliberately commits it. What reason do I have to help you cover it up? Rejected by me, that sister stood frozen in place. Her close maid Rose knelt on the ground, miserably pleading. First Miss is beloved by the master. Even past mistakes were lightly forgiven. But third Miss is different. If master learns of this, how can third Miss survive? I laughed coldly. What does that have to do with me? Everyone knows the Grand General Temple belongs to the imperial family. Those who come to burn incense and worship Buddha are all respectable people in the capital. Sister is a secondary daughter born of a concubine, without talent or status. In terms of beauty, you're not even comparable to the top courtesan at Crane Spring Tower. I truly want to know who would go to such lengths to humiliate sister. Rose angrily glared at me. Third Miss has suffered since childhood without mother's care, nearly dying in winter 4 years ago. From then on, she swore to protect Third Miss. How could she break her word out of fear of death? Third Miss trusts someone like you. How can you treat Third Miss this way? I unceremoniously slapped her hard. The force was strong. Rose hit her head on the table corner, blood flowing freely. Insolent thing. If there's a next time, I'll tear out your tongue. In my past life, this maid always covered for that sister. The key evidence that led to my death at the palace banquet was provided by her. This is a letter First Miss conspired with others about. This servant hid for a long time before finding it. First Miss has long hated my mistress, not hesitating to use the most vicious means to harm her. After forcing my mistress to get pregnant, she used the lives of my mistress's mother and brother as threats. My mistress had no choice but to keep the baby to satisfy First Miss. And there's more, all these are tonic medicines. This servant spent much effort to find this physician, confirming they were bought by First Miss's people. First Miss prepared 2 schemes to harm my mistress. If the first failed, my mistress would die in childbirth from the baby being too large due to over-nourishment. First Miss is truly vicious. I looked at those damning letters and finally understood why sister once borrowed my letters under the pretext of appreciation to imitate my handwriting. How laughable, I never even knew. Elder sister can blame me if you want. Rose was just loyally protecting her master, not deliberately defying elder sister. That sister helped Rose up, unable to hold back her tears. If elder sister doesn't want to save me, that's fine. I'm just a lowly life. Rather than wait to be drowned in a pig cage, I might as well end my life now. Watching her stagger not toward the nearby table corner, but toward the distant wall, I stood coldly watching. A figure flashed by so quickly I couldn't see clearly who it was before that sister was stopped in time. Sophia, how could you do something so foolish? My second brother, that sister's blood brother Marcus, anxiously checked her injuries. Such intimate behavior, those who didn't know would think they were lovers. I leisurely watched the show. Second brother immediately shielded sister behind him, looking at me with hostility. Elena Whitmore, Sophia has already been harmed and made pregnant. As her elder sister, instead of helping her, you're forcing her to die. How can you be so cruel? In my past life I treated second brother very well, exhausting myself for his official career path, even finding grandfather far away in Yangzhou, asking grandfather to spend money to promote this useless brother to an official position. Yet he turned around and conspired with sister to cause my wrongful death. I looked at his protective posture and the hidden doubt in his eyes, laughing mockingly. So what does second brother think I should do? Marcus seemed surprised I was suddenly so agreeable, stunned for a moment before immediately making his demands. Of course, help Sophia cover this up, don't let our parents know. Otherwise, if word spreads, who in the capital will believe the minister's family could produce a talented and beautiful lady like you? I calmly curled my lips. Sister agrees. Marcus was stunned, somewhat disbelieving. That sister hiding behind him was even more shocked, but her eyes flashed with cruelty and jealousy. Thank you for your consideration, sister. From now on I'll definitely be careful with my words and deeds. If elder sister tells me to go east, I absolutely won't go west. She lowered her eyes, the corners red-rimmed, looking pitiful no matter how you looked. How convenient. I have an absolutely safe method. That sister looked at me in confusion. I glanced once, and my close maid immediately forcefully invited Marcus and rose outside. As soon as the door closed, that sister tensely retreated, her eyes flashing. Elder sister, what do you want to do? Since you've already agreed to second brother, of course you must help sister resolve this trouble. I mockingly laughed, approaching her. She opened her mouth to call for help, but I forcefully gripped her jaw. The medicine pill dropped into water. I grabbed the teapot, quickly pouring it into her mouth, drinking it all in one go. Cough, cough, cough. That sister gripped her throat, coughing violently, her face red from coughing. What did you make me take? I threw the teapot on the table, leisurely wiping the tea stains from my hands. Premium safflower pills. Saving sister's life. That sister's face immediately changed, hurriedly trying to make herself vomit but unable to bring anything up. It'll take effect after 1 hour. By then sister won't need to worry about your parents finding out about your pregnancy before marriage. Isn't suffering a little pain worth the peace of mind? I looked at the unconcealed resentment in her eyes, pretending innocence. Why is sister looking at me like that? Could it be you want to keep this bastard child? She trembled with anger, but could only shake her head, squeezing out words through gritted teeth. Thank you, elder sister. I lazily smiled. We're sisters in this family, why be so polite? Remember to pay me back for the medicine, it wasn't cheap. Walking out the door, that sister collapsed behind me, wailing miserably. Marcus rushed in frantically. I glanced at Rose standing at the door, then left with my maid June. Miss, do you really want to cover for third, miss? This is no joking matter. Bright sunlight shone on my face, gentle beyond words. I teasingly curved my lips, unhurried. The good show has just begun. I returned to Mother's courtyard, hearing Lady Willow's voice from afar inside the room. Mother was a famous beauty in Yangzhou. Father fell in love at first sight, proposing many times. Mother then married father according to her parents' orders. The two usually respected each other, so when father took a concubine, mother didn't feel jealous. Since I began protecting that sister, mother also treated her like her own daughter. Unknowingly, Lady Willow also became close with mother, often coming to chat with her. Elena isn't young anymore. It's time to consider marriage prospects. I think Lord Edmund of Ningguan Marquis Manor has good character and scholarship. That side has no real power. Our master is now valued by His Majesty. The match is quite suitable. If Elena marries there, she'll definitely live comfortably all her life. Lady Willow's words reached my ears. If it were my past life, I would definitely think she was sincerely considering me. But now I know she's paving the way for that sister. Afraid I won't get engaged to the Marquis Manor and others will snatch it away. I calmly lifted the curtain and entered, seeing mother's gentle and kind appearance, my eyes stinning. Marriage isn't urgent. Thank you for Lady Willow's good intentions. I want to stay by mother's side a bit longer, to serve her properly. Lady Willow smiled and interjected. Young ladies must marry eventually. Settling the marriage early saves your mother worry. If lady is eager to play matchmaker, why not worry about second brother's marriage instead? Spending all day at poetry gatherings with friends, without any talent. If you don't plan early, I don't know which family would be willing to marry their daughter to second brother. Lady Willow's face turned pale. I won't keep Lady any longer. Mother and I have things to discuss. As soon as Lady Willow left, Mother pulled me close. Child, Lady meant well? Why speak like that? Though scolding, her tone was gentle and soft. I threw myself into Mother's arms, choking up. I don't want to marry quickly. I just want to stay by Mother's side. Silly child. Mother sighed. Actually, Lord Edmund of Ningguan is indeed not bad. Won't you really consider it? I shook my head, tears falling. To consider someone who in my past life conspired with that sister behind my back while pretending to be noble as a husband. I must be blind. That's right. Today is Ludong Academy's holiday. Your brother didn't send a letter home. I'm afraid he won't return again. Mother made some snacks herself. Take them over for me and tell him to relax. Not to pressure himself too much about the imperial examinations. I smiled and agreed, packing the snacks and clean clothes to find Blue Raven. He was Mother's bodyguard from Yangzhou who came with us to the capital, usually tending the gardens in the manor while hiding his excellent martial arts. Make a trip to Apricot Willow Village to investigate the midwife who delivered Lady Willow's baby years ago. Back then father married Mother but discovered that though beautiful, she wasn't very gentle. Life was bland as water. In less than half a year, he took the singing girl Willowhui as a concubine. Willowhui was favored for a time. Even when 6 months pregnant, father brought her along on a diplomatic mission. They say she was frightened into premature labor on the road, and found Apricot Willow Village nearby. Over the years, second brother Marcus has grown to look more and more like father, but sister doesn't resemble him at all. After noon, I arrived at Luodong Academy's gate, nearly bumping into Rose who was rushing out. June quickly steadied me and scolded Rose for me. I said coldly, "Third sister doesn't like clumsy maids. You should be more careful in the future. Don't anger my sister." Passing Rose, I glanced at the luxurious carriage outside the courtyard. Prepare another carriage. The academy is a sacred place, such ostentation inevitably invites gossip. The academy wasn't far. I arrived but couldn't find my brother. Someone quietly directed me, probably behind the mountain. I thanked them, then took the small path behind the mountain. Before seeing anyone, I heard familiar sounds. Dare to snitch to the teacher. This young master sees you're tired of living. Today if this young master doesn't teach you properly, you won't know my power. Take off his pants. Next came sounds of clothes rustling and struggling. I quickened my pace and saw my brother's face pressed into the muddy ground, his whole body filthy, eyes red as he resisted, but his legs were being dragged. Stop. Those teenagers saw me but weren't afraid. Instead they laughed strangely, looking me up and down. Some even whistled at my full chest. I helped my brother up. He trembled, not daring to look at me, revealing arms with various red marks of different shades. His whole body kept shaking. Anger rose in me as I coldly looked at the ringleader, Lady Willow's second son, my fourth brother. Bullying him, did you ask me first? Fourth brother Theodore wasn't afraid at all. Hands on hips, nose in the air looking down on people. What about it? Who told him to displease me? Mother doesn't scold me at home. He's just a little turtle who dares criticize me for cheating on exams. If I don't teach him, who should I teach? The academy is for teaching people. You don't respect authority, have no learning or skills. I'm your elder sister, today I'll discipline you for the teacher. I broke off a tree branch and grabbed his arm. Right now he only came up to my shoulder, completely unable to resist me. You villain. If you dare hit me, I'll tell Mother when I get home. See if Father doesn't punish you. I laughed coldly. Lady Willow is favored but not as arrogant as you. How did she give birth to such a stupid troublemaker? I didn't hold back. The branch struck hard on his back. He screamed, wanting to run but couldn't escape. Don't hit me anymore. It hurts. Thinking of my brother being bullied to the point of not daring to speak up, I wished I could beat him to death. Putting away the branch, I pulled down his outer pants and kicked him into the dirty ditch. This was because I didn't know before. If I see you bullying William again, it won't be as simple as just hitting you. I held my brother's hand and left, wanting to take him to see the teacher and request leave, but he held me tightly at the door, not saying a word. My heart ached like being stabbed by needles. I lifted his face. With elder sister here, no one will dare bully you anymore. Trust sister? After the teacher learned about this, under my pressure, he disciplined all the involved students. I brought my brother home, not expecting Theodore's carriage to arrive before mine. As soon as we entered, we heard Theodore's wailing cries. Father, elder sister hit me. My back is covered in wounds, my teeth are chipped, my face is injured too. If I'm disfigured, how can I become an official in the future? Lady Willow added sorrowfully. He's crying so pitifully. Master, I've always treated Elena's children as my own. What grudge does she have against my child? Why look down on us like this? Does she want to force me and Theodore to death? Father sat in the high seat, face pale with anger. Seeing me, he angrily threw a teacup at me. Wretched girl. Laying hands on your own brother. Do you have any humanity? I coldly dodged, mockingly retorting, Father is the minister. Yet you can't distinguish right from wrong and pass judgment like this. Mother sitting beside him was already worried sick. Seeing my brother's pitiful appearance, she asked with heartache, William, what happened to you? Father acted as if he didn't hear Mother's words, didn't see my brother hiding behind me, coldly partial. Theodore explained clearly, you bullying him was seen by everyone at the academy. Could it be fake? Not fake. Father immediately slammed the table and stood up. Today you can bully your young brother. Tomorrow who knows how unruly you'll become. Someone bring the family law. Mother's face turned deathly pale in fear. Before she could open her mouth to plead for mercy, I pulled my brother forward and rolled up his sleeves. Purple bruises, deep and shallow, some already turned purple. If Father still considers himself sharp-eyed and keen-eared, then look carefully at the wounds on brother's body. I glanced at Theodore, though my words were for Father. Fourth brother leads students who don't study at the academy every day to bully William. If William doesn't write homework for fourth brother, he gets no food. If he doesn't obey fourth brother, he suffers fourth brother's torture at night. He even warns others not to get close to William to avoid being implicated. Today there was a small test. Fourth brother cheated and was caught by the teacher, but blamed William, making him crawl through his legs. When he refused, fourth brother pressed him to the ground and beat him. Fourth brother is young but already knows how to abuse power and bully others. Father has been upright all your life. Do you want officials in the capital to know you raised such a shameless person? To avoid Lady Willow and Theodore's sophistry, I threw the written evidence and the teacher's letter proving it on the table. Lady Willow's mouth hung open. Theodore still wouldn't give up. Father, don't believe her words. These are all fake. But being young after all, his guilty expression showed clearly. If Father doesn't give justice, I won't hesitate to make this matter public and clear William's name. In just 2 breaths, Father slapped Theodore, so fast no one could guard against it. Father, why did you hit me? Hit her instead. Shut up. That sister hurriedly ran over, fiercely scolding Theodore, then turned and knelt before me, pretending to be humble. Father is busy. It's my fault for not educating brother well. I apologize to elder sister on his behalf. Whether kneeling or family punishment, I'm willing to accept. I only ask elder sister to calm down. What a good show of sharing the burden for Father and redirecting the target. I laughed coldly. What if I say no? Father's expression turned displeased. We're all family. There's been enough commotion and punishment. You're their elder sister. Why be so narrow-minded? You're famous outside. You should set an example for them. Living in mud becomes habit. I saw the triumph in Theodore's eyes and smiled faintly. Father is right. Since sister is so sincere, then punish sister by coming to my courtyard every noon to kneel. That sister's expression stiffened. I returned to the courtyard with mother and brother. Mother applied medicine to brother while crying. Brother was well behaved. Though he developed a quiet personality, he still thoughtfully wiped mother's tears. I carefully put away brother's clothes and heard bird chirping outside. Blue Raven had returned. Previously Lady Willow went into premature labor and stayed with a family in Apricot Willow Village. The woman in that household had also just given birth. The midwife happened to live next door, but years ago this family suddenly met with disaster and all died. The midwife moved away not long after. According to the villagers, the midwife and this family had long-standing grudges. The 2 families had been at odds for years. That's right. Blue Raven handed me a jade pendant. On the way back, this subordinate encountered Duke Harrison. He asked me to bring this to you, saying it belongs to his family. I was slightly surprised taking it. Duke Harrison and I had never had any relationship. Why would he suddenly help me, even knowing my plans? Unable to figure it out, I carefully touched the jade pendant. The patterns were clear, the material excellent. Definitely not something a farming family could have. What did that family's daughter look like? Blue Raven recalled. The villagers mentioned this woman was very beautiful. They often joked she didn't look like someone they could have given birth to. Though this couple only had 1 daughter, they treated her wholeheartedly. I put away the jade pendant and curved my lips. Apricot Willow Village wasn't some wealthy, populous place. For such a family to meet disaster, there must be something shady. We must find that midwife. I chose a study companion for my brother who could fight, and returned with him to the academy. That evening, Blue Raven brought news about the midwife. With Duke Harrison's involvement, even the tightest lips could be pried open. I had June call that sister over to kneel. As expected, Rose returned with June. I smiled and poured a cup of tea, telling June to guard outside the door. What's the reason? Rose's expression was cold. Third Miss has caught a cold and is unwell. This servant kneels in Third Miss's place. I leisurely sipped my tea and nodded. That's a good excuse, truly above suspicion. Previously, I had someone pass word to you about cooperating with me. You didn't respond, but when I went to visit my brother, you used a collision to remind me there was a problem with the carriage. I've always believed in reciprocity. I took out the jade pendant. Look familiar. Rose's expression turned ugly. Despite trying to control herself, she couldn't help the redness at her eyes. How did you find this? That's not important. They raised you for so long. When facing death, they still wanted to protect your life. Don't you know who was so cruel as to want to send a defenseless couple to their deaths? Where are their bodies? Rose finally couldn't hold back. She looked up at me, eyes full of hatred, anger, and sorrow intertwined. It really was Third Miss. I won't say anything. I gave her the midwife's confession. 5 years ago when she entered the manor, not long after that family was exterminated, it was also that sister who brought her into the manor. She said she met a beggar on the road and felt sorry for her, so brought her back as a maid, but named her Rose, Goose Feather. Very degrading. Rose finished reading the confession, almost unable to stand, her whole body trembling. So just because she felt my adoptive parents' existence threatened her position, she wanted to kill them. But those were her biological parents. Her voice seemed torn, tears falling drop by drop. No one understands the pain of losing loved ones better than me. I hugged her, gently comforting her. The bodies are gone. But I've found coffin clothes for you and paid respects on your behalf. If you're willing, I can arrange for you to visit once. Rose shook her head, wiped her tears before speaking. She met with Master Bloom last night, wanting to destroy Fifth Young Master. The Bloom family has one son and one daughter. Though this son is incompetent, spending his days in pleasure quarters, their daughter was made a noble consort in the palace, so no one dares look down on Master Bloom. In my past life, Sister had unclear relations with Master Bloom, on one hand coveting the power he brought, on the other despising him as worthless mud. But those who are two-faced will face retribution. I told Rose to send her back, and secretly arranged protection for William. On the 15th of the month, I went with Mother to offer incense. I received news from Rose. The princess was leading palace maids dressed as men to sneak into Luodong Academy. Miss has been preparing for a long time. It seems Master Bloom's sister has some tricks up her sleeve. I found Blue Raven and told him my plan. When we were halfway through burning incense, a servant from home urgently brought news from the academy. I went there with Mother. The scene was chaotic. Beside the hillside lay a body dressed in men's clothing. A group of students and teachers surrounded it tightly, their expressions grave. William knelt soaking wet beside Father. Theodore knelt trembling on the ground, looking frightened. Behind them several students knelt on the ground, not daring to move. Father, it wasn't me. It really wasn't me. Theodore grabbed Father's robe hem, crying miserably. The princess dressed as a man looked furious. It was clearly you who ordered someone to take away this palace's attendant. Which of these students can't testify? It was William who forced me. Theodore frantically tried to deflect, pointing at William. There are no females at the academy. It was William who discovered she was a woman dressed as a man and harbored evil intentions toward her. He even used Mother to pressure me. I had no choice but to help him find this sister. But this sister refused. William wanted to force himself on her and accidentally pushed her into the pond. I wanted to go save her, but William wouldn't let me. He watched her die. Then I told him to admit his mistake. He refused and even staged it to look like he fell in the water himself. None of this has anything to do with me. I was forced. Father, please save me. Trying to throw dirty water even at death's door. I walked over, patted his robe, then looked at the princess with an unpleasant expression. Dare I ask if the princess's attendant normally uses fragrance? The princess didn't understand but didn't hide it. This palace's attendants aren't like ordinary servants. They're equally noble and normally use plum blossom fragrance. I laughed. Fourth brother said you never touched the princess's attendant. Then why do you have the same fragrance on you? Theodore's face turned deathly pale. It's from when William rubbed against me. Is that so? My gaze gradually turned cold. The fragrance has seeped into the clothes. If William had used force, why doesn't he have this fragrance on him? Theodore trembled. He fell in the water. Of course the fragrance is gone. Is this hard to understand? I smiled calmly, grabbing his left hand hidden in his sleeve. If fragrance can be explained away, what about these scratches? There are 2 scratches on the body. And there's skin under your index and middle fingers. How do you explain that? You're reversing black and white, pushing your mistakes onto my brother. Did the teachers at Luodong Academy teach students to be this vicious? Theodore hurriedly withdrew his hand, trembling trying to hide. The princess immediately flew into a rage, viciously kicking him in the chest. This palace's fragrance isn't some common thing sold in the streets. Let alone soaking in water for a moment, even for a day, traces would remain. So young yet your mouth is full of twisted lies, with such a vicious heart. This palace absolutely won't forgive you. Someone come. The princess was the emperor's youngest sister, usually pampered. No one dared anger or displease her, she got whatever she wanted. How much more so when her closest attendant died wrongly. Theodore was completely terrified, tears and snot flowing as he grabbed father's shoes, but was kicked away by father. I have no such wicked son. Several servants quickly restrained him, broke his legs, and threw him out of Luodong Academy. Thick arm-sized rods swung down. Theodore's face flushed red as he screamed madly. The crisp sound of bones breaking was truly pleasant to hear. I was very satisfied. A concubine's son with disabilities, let alone becoming an official in the future, even marriage would be difficult. As the drama ended, Mother took William to the carriage to change into clean clothes. I watched with my own eyes as Theodore was thrown out before withdrawing my gaze and leaving. The princess's arrogant voice came from behind. I stopped and looked at her. What else does the princess need? She evaluated me from head to toe, finally looking at me arrogantly. Daring to use this palace to vent your anger, you're quite bold. I acted innocent. What is the princess saying? This servant doesn't understand. The princess snorted coldly, taking measured steps toward me. This palace's attendant was fetching things for me. You then had someone lead your fourth brother over. That's when he developed improper thoughts. If not for you, why would this palace's attendant have to die? The princess speaks too strongly. That's the necessary path to the West Garden. Perhaps it was just coincidence that my fourth brother encountered her. The princess approached closer, narrowing her eyes, her tongue sharp. This servant girl eliminated harm, wasn't it also to vent anger for the princess? I took another step forward, posture humble, lowering my voice. This servant boldly guesses the princess surely doesn't like this attendant with the supervisory title by your side. Also letting those people see, though the princess is innocent, she's not easy to bully. The princess suddenly curved her lips in a smile, no longer coldly majestic as before. You're truly an interesting person. No wonder Duke Harrison notices you. I admit defeat wholeheartedly. For Duke Harrison's sake, I won't pursue this matter with you. I looked at her retreating figure in a daze, recalling that usually cold face. We'd never interacted before, why would he notice me? I didn't take these words to heart and left with June. Returning home, Lady Willow cried so loudly both the front and back courtyards could hear. But having offended the princess, Theodore still couldn't stay. That very night he was sent to a distant suburban farm. According to Rose, sister angrily smashed things in her room. The next night she disguised herself and went out. No need to guess. She went to seek help from Master Bloom. This good drama was still missing one viewer. I had Rose find an excuse to tell second brother Marcus that sister was missing, possibly in danger. Marcus went to find her without suspicion. Following the clues I deliberately left, he heard sister's voice in a remote small courtyard. I stood on a high building holding a telescope, watching with interest. I thought Marcus would be furious discovering their affair and forcefully take sister away. But I don't know what methods sister used. She actually got my second brother to willingly join in. Necks entwined, the door closed. I felt like my eyes were about to grow tumors. However, the good show had just begun. Father and Lady Willow led a group of people charging in aggressively. Only then did I leisurely follow. You beasts. The stark white scene in the room almost dazzled my eyes. Father's face was ashen as he pointed at Marcus and sister, grinding his teeth. You, how dare you? Lady Willow's face was deathly pale, swaying as if about to fall, pointing at them speechless. Master Bloom wasn't bothered by this scene at all, lazily putting on his clothes, laughing mockingly. So many people. I should have known to change the time. Today was really uncomfortable. He strolled out casually, not even putting the minister in his eyes. Sister and Marcus were both brought to the ancestral hall. Sibling incest, utterly rebellious and unfilial. Lady Willow knelt on the ground, miserably begging father for leniency. Sister and Marcus trembled with fear. But what kind of person was my father? He valued face above all. Whenever he thought of Master Bloom's scene in the future, his blood pressure would surely spike. Moreover, if Master Bloom spread a few words outside, how would he face the world? The family law was brought out. The noise in the ancestral hall made my head ache like hammers. Father, why must you be so angry? I spoke up to stop him. Sister's face was full of shock. Then, as if thinking of something, she hurriedly begged me. Elder sister, save me. I've been framed. I smiled calmly, looking toward father. Third sister was never a child of the Whitmore family, so naturally she doesn't disgrace the Whitmore family. After a moment of dead silence, sister glared at me, panic clear in her eyes. What nonsense is elder sister saying? I'm father's biological daughter. If not, then who am I? Rose stepped forward, her gaze at sister as if poisoned. You stole the life that belonged to me, had people kill my adoptive parents who treated me well. Where is your conscience? Sister's expression stiffened momentarily, but she quickly regained her mistress's bearing, raising her hand to slap Rose. Lowly servant. How dare you impersonate me? That slap didn't land. Instead, she was slapped twice by Rose. Sister was furious and wanted to fight back, so I pulled Rose behind me. The evidence I'd given Rose earlier, along with newly found evidence, was all laid out before father. She and mother have suffered for over 10 years, while that woman's child has enjoyed wealth and glory in the manor. If father isn't blind, you should know who your real daughter is. Lady Willow saw the jade pendant and tremblingly grabbed Rose's hand, but found it rough beyond measure. Tears fell as she then lifted Rose's collar. Seeing the birthmark, Lady Willow wept bitterly. Sophia's shoulder doesn't have a birthmark. I thought that night's delivery I had seen wrong. I never imagined my daughter has suffered so much all these years. Rose was indifferent. Sister went wild defending herself. No. Parents, I'm your daughter. She's just a lowly maid, she's impersonating me. Shut up. Lady Willow both loved and hated, her feelings complex. Marcus suddenly grabbed onto what seemed like a life-saving straw, angrily pointing at sister. She seduced me, that's why I made mistakes. Father, please understand. Sister looked at him in disbelief. How can you say such shameless words? You were the one who first harbored feelings for your own sister, half forcing me. Starting last year with the first time, every month you wanted me. If I didn't comply, you'd threaten me with this. The child I carried was also yours. Father was shocked. What child? Marcus's expression immediately changed. What nonsense are you spouting? Don't throw dirty water on me. It was clearly you who seduced me, you shameless base person. The two quickly came to blows. The solemn ancestral hall became extremely noisy. The drama ended with Sister No. Sophia being temporarily punished with house arrest, and Marcus being taken to the study. Lady Willow was heavily traumatized and secluded herself. Father was furious, making everyone in the Whitmore manor uneasy. Sophia was locked up for a day. I kindly brought her some food. Unfortunately, she didn't appreciate my kindness and kicked it over. This was all your plot, wasn't it? You base person. I laughed mockingly. If you hadn't done these things, how would I have had these opportunities? Sophia, you tied your own noose. Ha ha ha, she laughed until tears came. I should have realized earlier that I was too soft-hearted toward you. I should have eliminated you earlier. I laughed coldly, the misery of my past life vivid before my eyes. Too bad you have no more chances. I turned to leave. Sophia grabbed a memorial tablet and smashed it hard at the back of my head. I dodged partially but still blood from my head. June painfully applied medicine for me. Miss, why give her the opportunity? I stroked the bandage wrapped around my forehead. Without giving opportunities, how can we root out the weeds completely? Father had always valued face. Even with such events, as long as he ordered silence, it would only circulate within the manor. Moreover, his bias toward Lady Willow wasn't new. With Sophia by her side for years, if Lady Willow softened, She definitely wouldn't push her to a dead end. But that wasn't what I wanted. Using the excuse of preparing for the Queen's birthday banquet, I spread rumors everywhere. Soon gossip spread outside about scandals hidden in the minister's house. When father learned of it, he was furious but couldn't vent his anger on me. That night he expelled Sophia from the house. Heavy rain poured down. She was miserable as a starving dog. I've already lost my status as a Whitmore daughter, imprisoned with no knowledge of when I can leave. Why must you still pursue me to the end? I regarded you as my closest sister. How can you be so heartless? I lifted my foot, the tip of my embroidered shoe touching her chin. Repaying kindness with enmity has always been you, hasn't it? I treated you like a biological sister. Yet you wanted to use pregnancy to frame me to death. Heaven has eyes and will never tolerate evildoers doing evil. Not only that, but everything about you from head to toe disgusts people. The night before I went to bring her food, I saw father had gone one step ahead of me. In the dim ancestral hall, Sophia stripped naked on the spot, exposing her nude body before father, swaying and begging, crying and complaining, willing to be a secret mistress not publicly acknowledged, just begging to survive. I thought father would forcefully push her away, but unexpectedly he was bewitched by her. How truly laughable, he developed desire for someone a year younger than me whom he'd raised for over 10 years. I guarded outside for half an hour. He and Sophia stopped at the final step. His usually deep voice reached my ears, only making me nauseous. I cannot take you in right now. You need to wait for me for a while. I'll let you live. Sophia worried. Then, when can I serve you? That desperate. To survive appearance, even without seeing it, I could imagine. Raised in the Whitmore manor for so many years, yet only learned to trade your body. Truly pitiful. Very soon. I stood in the shadows watching father emerge from the ancestral hall, again with his majestic, naturally authoritative elders bearing. The servants received my orders and expelled Sophia from the capital. After the Queen's birthday banquet, the family held a ceremony for Rose to return to her rightful position, naming her Alina Rose. At dinner, I carefully chose my words, wanting to tell Mother about leaving the Whitmore family, but Mother unexpectedly spoke first. Alana, Mother wants to divorce your father. I wonder if you're willing. Mother's expression was heavy, her eyes half expectant, half probing. I smiled and took Mother's hand. Whatever Mother does, I support. Mother's family is wealthy. There's no need to stay in this nauseating place. Father was cleverer. When Mother mentioned divorce, he was furiously angry, accusing Mother of lacking womanly virtue, firmly refusing. It was the first time in my life I'd seen Mother so cold. I used that night in the ancestral hall to pressure him with the face he valued so much. If Father doesn't agree, I'll make such a scene for Mother that the Whitmore manor will be in complete chaos. Officials always pay attention to the slightest disturbance. How long can Father's minister position last? I didn't expect you to be so scheming. Father was furious, his face so dark it could drip ink, but finally went with Mother to the magistrate for divorce. Just after leaving the capital, the sunshine was bright. But when I met Sophia again, she no longer had her noble daughter appearance. Her skin was wheat-colored, eyes blazing, bearing fierce. Beside her were dozens of bandits surrounding us. Surprised, Alana Whitmore. My lowly life didn't die. Today falling into my hands, I'll definitely make your life worse than death. She laughed piercingly. Dozens of bandits tightly surrounded us, continuously calling her Chief's wife. I protected Mother, coldly watching her. Who wins and who loses is still unknown. In my past life, Sophia committed heinous crimes, but in this life the wrongs she'd done hadn't yet taken lives. I only forced her to a dead end without taking her life. But now was different. She was stubborn, courting disaster herself. I glanced at the bushes to the south. Just as I was about to raise my hand, an arrow suddenly shot out, aimed straight at Sophia. She reacted quickly, grabbing a nearby bandit as a shield. Your life is slipping away before my eyes. Surrender now and I might spare your life. A deep, warm male voice sounded behind me. I turned to see the legendary Duke Harrison, red robes with black belt, his appearance bewitching yet cold, his whole person radiating authority. He glanced at me and calmly spoke. No need to be tense. I remembered my people had ambushed earlier, originally planning to appear, but temporarily stayed hidden due to his appearance. After 2 seconds of silence, don't be nervous. Alana Whitmore, I thought you were so noble. Aren't you just like me, liking to seduce men? You base person deserves to go to hell. Attack! Our forces were openly outnumbered nearly 3-1. In the chaotic battle, dozens of bandits died or were wounded. Sophia was shot in both legs by Duke Harrison, trembling with her head down. As I approached, she cried and begged. "Don't kill me. I don't want to die. I know I was wrong. I won't dare again. Why bother?" I reached out to help her up, bending to touch her body. Suddenly she raised her head, eyes blood red, pulling out a hidden dagger from her sleeve to stab at my face. Blood splattered. My knife was faster, stabbing precisely into her throat. Sophia's eyes bulged wide, full of unwillingness. So many opportunities, yet you couldn't grasp even one. I calmly wiped the blood from my hands and turned to leave. "Thank you, Duke Harrison, for today." After thanking him, I helped Mother onto the carriage, but his folded fan suddenly blocked my path. "Just a thank you." I curved my lips in a smile. Even without Duke Harrison coming today, the result would be the same. Not all women must rely on men. Surely these words can't move you. These words exceed propriety. I hope the Duke won't take offense. With mountains high and rivers long, we'll meet again if fate allows. Without looking at Duke Harrison's expression, I boarded the carriage and only then discovered the jade pendant at my waist had shattered long ago. Mother sighed with emotion. "This was what Mother obtained from the Grand General Temple last year, praying for your safety. Unexpectedly, after just 1 year it has shattered. When we reach Grandfather's house, Mother will get you another one." This story teaches us that kindness should never be blind. Elena's tragic past life shows how misplaced trust and excessive compassion can lead to our downfall when given to those who manipulate our goodness. The tale reminds us to recognize toxic relationships, set healthy boundaries, and understand that some people will exploit our generosity for their selfish gains. True wisdom lies in distinguishing genuine souls deserving our help from those who wear masks of vulnerability while harboring malicious intentions. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-love is learning when to say no and protecting ourselves from those who would destroy us under the guise of needing our sympathy. Don't forget to follow the Peachytale channel for new stories released daily. If you found this story good, please give me a like, share, and comment to support Peachytale stories. Thank you all very much.